Hey everyone, this is Dr. Marley, Christine, and a number of you asked me to talk about communication principles applied to online teaching. My goal is to provide everyone with at least a few small changes, which when implemented can have a big impact. I have a mantra of C words, which we'll get to. The goal of online teaching in terms of communication is the same goal as face-to-face teaching in terms of communication. It's about to nudge students, in sort of this incremental way. And this is done through messages, through communication, and the many different channels of communication. So I read this book, Small Teaching Online, a few weeks ago, and it gave me a very interesting imagine this situation kind of story. Imagine you, as a student, walk into your classroom the first day, and the instructor isn't there, and neither are the students. It's empty. You sit down, you look at your watch, you check your schedule, you have the right place, date and time. You notice the name of your professor in class on the board. It's Dr. Washington, Anthro 101. So you play on your phone for a while. And after about 5 minutes of no one showing up, you look around and see a set of papers on the desk. You pick the only copy up, and it's the syllabus for the class. It's pages thick, so you flip through it until you find the assignments. It is the assignments you want to read, since the first thing you want to know is, what do you have to do and how much work is it? Because you do want to get through this class, right? Now, I can make this even more bleak if we talk about a student who doesn't know where the building is, or gets lost, or arrives at the door only to find that it's locked and they don't have the key. This is like any online learning where the course has no obvious or bold directions for how to get started. If we look at these classes, they look really pretty. My syllabus is sitting right up front, and it says the day of the week and all kinds of interesting stuff like, ooh, we're going to do a talk show instructions. The thing is that these have, nice graphics, but no clue how to start. Maybe everything in this one is nested. It is. And maybe in this other one, I've got all these cool titles, but I have no idea as a student what I need to do with this. So the most important thing is to give the students a clue, right? For most students, fixing this is as simple as writing "click here to start" somewhere on your website. On this particular one, I just in bold say, watch welcome video. But see, we have "click here to start" right at the top. Click here to start. And this is a far better idea if you really want students to know the first thing they need to do. I learned this the hard way. I had a student who turned out to be a great student, but a week into the class, actually it was the Monday, I think, or the weekend after the class had gone on, he'd missed the syllabus quiz, he'd missed the forum where they introduced themselves, and he sent me an email that said he had no idea how to get onto the class, how to do anything. And I've had students who don't know where ULearn is on the web. They don't know their username or password. They've had to ask me. And I've learned that what you have to do is you have to provide your students with a link to ULearn, as well as generically what their username and password is in a welcome email. We're all individuals and we need to be treated as individuals. And if you were on campus and you saw a kid who was lost, you would, give them directions. You might even walk them to class. They can't turn to some other kid on the hallway and ask, how do I get there? Or, okay, now that I'm online even, I don't know my username and password, or this doesn't have tell me where to start. How do I start this class, right? And so they need us to do that for them. So here we are. Your first email, which should probably happen like the Sunday before classes start, should say something like, welcome everyone to Communication 221, Introduction to Media Studies. Bold the question, how do I get on ULearn? Give them the link. How do I sign on? Give them a generic understanding of username and password. This is the same one that you use to get into your email. And this is an email, so you know they can get in. They do know their username and password, but maybe they don't know that they know it. And then the next question they're going to want to know is, okay, now that I'm in, what do I have to do, right? And so I always in my first email say that on Wednesday of this week, which is the first day of classes, you have to complete the syllabus quiz, and here's how you can get started. And I give them the link to ULearn if they have to do something on ULearn. Sometimes I'll give them a link to my welcome video. And then I end it with something like looking forward to lots of learning this semester, and sign it in my typical way, which is Dr. M. Now, I'm aware that there are some students who will not check their email, and we need to train these students to check their email because in their work situation, they're going to need to check email. The other thing is how do you write this email? Well, there are 5 C's. Your email should be clear, not vague, and you should use things like labels. So particularly, one of the things I like to do is in the subject line, for all the emails that I send to a particular class throughout the entire semester, I always put in the subject line COMM, then the numbers for the course, and the title of the course. And those are going to be clearer and easier for the students to see when they're looking at all of these emails. And they'll see COMM and they'll be like, oh, that's my class. What's that about, right? So that's one way that I get the students to notice it. And I'm very consistent so they know to look for that specifically when they're looking through their emails, right? So that's about being clear. Completeness. Make sure that you give these links. Make sure that you actually answer the questions they're going to have. But you also don't want to add all kinds of extra junk. So notice I say on Wednesday of this week, you must complete the syllabus quiz. To get started, watch this, and then I just give them the link. I don't go into detail about the quiz. I don't tell them that it has 10 questions. I don't tell them how much it's worth. I just tell them they have to take the quiz. That's all they need to get started. Conciseness, keep it short and sweet. I don't add all that extra stuff in. Concreteness. In your emails, you want to just provide small steps. You don't want your emails to be the totality of what you are. You don't want it to be the assignment, right? Give them the link to the assignment. Give them tell them the assignment is ready. Give them the assignment is due on Tuesday. You'll find it on ULearn. Those kinds of things. Very short, concrete, concise, and consistent. So I find that in my subject line, how I greet my students, how I sign off, and I do also try and even keep my structure as consistent as I can, because clarity, completeness, conciseness, concreteness, and consistency are what will make your email readable for your students.